Hello everyone, my name is Emily and my group decided to do our country presentation over Canada, so I will start off with a geographic overview. Canada is actually the second largest country in the world by total area, but 80% of its land is uninhabited. It takes up about half of the North American continent, with the United States bordering to its south, as well as to the northwest with Alaska. The country stretches from the Pacific Ocean in the west, the Atlantic Ocean in the east, and the Arctic Ocean in the north. The capital is Ottawa, which is located near the Great Lakes region and is closest to the state of New York, as you can see on the map here. Canada is also divided into 5 regions. Within each of the 5 regions listed here, there are various climates. The West Coast is characterized as the most mountainous part of the country and also hosts massive evergreen forests. Between the mountain ranges lie green valleys with a hospitable climate perfect for vegetation. The prairie provinces dramatically shift into flat open land, generally dry with cold winters and hot summers. Central Canada is made up of the 2 provinces, Quebec and Ontario, as you can see on the map. Bordered by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, central Canada is home to beautiful scenery and wetlands among the forests. The Atlantic provinces are known for their rocky coasts and forested interior. Because of the proximity to the Atlantic Ocean, this region has cooler winters and cooler summers. Finally, the North is a large uninhabited region due to the harsh freezing winters. As a quick demographic overview, Canada's population is estimated at around 37.7 million, which ranks 39th in the world. The chart on the right shows the increase of nearly 4 million people within the last 10 years. Over half of the Canadian population resides in the Central Canada region, among the 2 provinces of Quebec and Ontario. Finally, the 2 official languages are English and French. Now, Leah will be discussing Canada's economy.
Canada has a free market economy, but the government still plays a large role in regulating and subsidizing many industries. Canada has an economic freedom score of 78.2, making its economy the 9th freest in the world and the 1st in the Americas region, according to the 2020 index. This score is the average of 12 different factors, including trade freedom, tax burden, and judicial effectiveness, that were measured on a scale of 1 to 100. The Canadian dollar is the currency of Canada. 1 Canadian dollar is equivalent to approximately 71 cents in the United States. The regular unemployment rate in Canada is 5.9%. The gross domestic product is $1.6 trillion. Historically, the Canadian economy has been based around trading natural resources, but now it's dominated by the service sector, which employs 3/4 of the population. The other 2 major industries include manufacturing and natural resources. The country is one of the leading producers of natural minerals such as gold, nickel, aluminum, and crude oil. It has the 3rd largest oil reserves in the world. The North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, is very important to the Canadian economy as it eliminates most of the barriers to free trade among Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Since 3/4 of Canada's exports are to the United States, the continuation of the agreement is critical to their economic well-being. Some of the primary export goods of Canada include motor vehicles and their parts, crude petroleum, aluminum, and timber. The main export partners include the United States, China, Japan, and Mexico. Some of Canada's imports include consumer goods, motor vehicles, electronic equipment, and metal and non-metallic mineral products. Canada's major import partners are the United States, China, Germany, Mexico, and Japan. The chart on the left and the right show the approximate percentages of where Canadian exports and imports go and are received, respectively. Next, Ali will be discussing 2 companies within Canada.
The first company that I will be talking about is Imperial Oil. Imperial Oil was founded in 1880 in London, Ontario. Imperial not only sells gasoline, but does business across all the different stages in the creation of oil and gas. In doing so, they are able to produce their own oil and natural gas. In 1898, Imperial Oil needed expansion capital. Standard Oil was there to answer their prayers and Imperial sold 69.6% of their shares to Standard Oil. To this day, the company ExxonMobil, who is the descendant of Standard Oil, still owns 69.6% of their shares. In 1907, they opened the first service station in Canada. Regular people were able to come up to get gas. Imperial Oil was not immune to the tough times such as both World War I and World War II, but they had the innovation to adapt and remain afloat during those tough times. As of 2004, their headquarters has been in Calgary, Alberta. The second company that I will be discussing is Royal Bank of Canada. The Royal Bank of Canada started as the Merchants Bank back in 1864 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. By 1901, it had become a national institution known as the Royal Bank of Canada. Their services include personal and commercial banking, wealth management, investor and treasury services, capital markets, and insurance. The RBC is present in over 50 countries around the world, including the United States and the Caribbean. Their lion and globe design is one of the most recognized symbols in Canada. According to their website, they are one of the largest financial institutions in North America with one of the best credit ratings in the world. The fact that they won the North American Retail Bank of the Year for 2 years in a row by Retail Banker International definitely backs up that statement. Next, Haley will be discussing the impacts of COVID-19 on Canada.
Impact of COVID-19. Canada has 15,821 total cases, and they've experienced 3,248 recovered cases with 293 deaths. They've performed 331,311 tests, and the death rate is 1.85% in Canada, comparative to 5.47% worldwide. Responses to COVID-19. The government has responded quickly and efficiently, doing all they can to help their citizens. They are providing support to individuals, businesses, and industries in various ways to help them through the current crisis. Specifically, individuals facing unemployment, those who are ill or quarantined, Indigenous people, and seniors, among others, are being provided the resources they need. Extensions on taxes and increased credit availability are being offered to help businesses and industries. An article by Ottawa Citizen revealed how Canada believes they are responding more effectively to COVID-19 than the United States. They claim that their Prime Minister appears in public every day alone outside his residence, and he speaks sensibly, with authority, and without hyperbole. This has been his finest hour. Not only do they disapprove of our actions in response to COVID-19 within the United States, but there has been a recent dispute in the news between Canada and the United States over face masks. The United States has enacted the America First policy in the Defense Production Act, which restricts the shipping of 3M face masks to Canada. They believe that the best course of action is working together, and they're very upset by these new policies. The economy is facing similar declines to those in the United States and across the globe. Canada's growth declined in the last quarter of 2019 due to protests, oil prices, and the introduction of COVID-19. This was the lowest they've experienced in more than 3 years. They expect the economic growth will contract by a projected 2.7% in the second quarter, as stated by the Conference Board of Canada. Hopefully they will not experience a recession and will see growth in the third quarter. The people have responded positively as well with a movement called the Caremonger Movement. Their goal is to help others in their community through running errands and providing supplies. They've organized neighborhood pods over social media with groups including anywhere from 5 to 30 people. The focus is community and service rather than dwelling in the fears of the unknown. Thank you for listening to our presentation about Canada.